Let's talk about Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who is, as we say, headed to Capitol Hill this morning to meet with the GOP leadership. Now, yesterday, the top Republican in the House defended the president's proposal. CBS News congressional correspondent Nikole Killion is live on Capitol Hill and joins me now to discuss. So, Nikole, Speaker Johnson's remarks came less than 24 hours before his meeting with Netanyahu. What are we expecting from that conversation today?
Well, I think by and large, this is an opportunity. Obviously, the speaker has expressed close solidarity with Israel and the Israeli people, particularly in light of October 7th. So this is just an opportunity to kind of reaffirm that support. But also, look, this comes amid the backdrop of President Trump just this week laying out a pretty provocative proposal to have the U.S. take over Gaza in light of the war between Israel and Gaza. And certainly that's gotten a lot of pushback, not only in the Arab world, but even here on Capitol Hill among some of the president's allies. Now, by and large, Speaker Johnson has expressed some support, measured support for the idea, saying that it was bold and decisive. But he also said that further discussion is required to kind of flesh this out a little bit more. I pressed the speaker, though, more specifically about whether he does agree with the president's position. Take a listen. I know you said what the president said yesterday was bold and decisive, but yes or no, do you believe the U.S. should take control of Gaza? And is that a position you're going to reaffirm with the prime minister when he's here at the Capitol tomorrow?
Well, I look forward to meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu. There's a lot to discuss. I've been a very close ally of his, and to be frank, for the last 4 years, I think I was probably the highest ranked member of the federal government who was unequivocally supporting Israel and the prime minister. So we'll have that discussion.
So again, as you heard the speaker there say, he didn't exactly say yes or no in terms of whether or not he agrees with the president's stance, but he has said at several opportunities, again, that he thinks it's a good development, but one that merits further discussion. He also talked about understanding the need to rebuild Gaza. And so he feels that's kind of where the president was coming from. But in talking to other congressional Republicans, they are certainly concerned about, the prospect of trying to put boots on the ground in Gaza, which is something the White House has pushed back against. But still, there are just a lot of questions about how that type of proposal would work. And so some Senate Republicans, for instance, told me that they believe the president's idea is just simply a non-starter.
Okay, Nikole, as you know, on the other side of the aisle, some Democrats literally stayed up all night in protest of the president's nominee for White House budget director. Explain what's going on there.
Yeah, well, look, obviously there's been a lot of concern, particularly among congressional Democrats, in terms of what they believe is upheaval with respect to the federal government and the federal workforce, whether it was a confusion last week about the funding freeze. And even still, the congressional Democrats have expressed some concerns that some agencies are still, or entities are still being blocked from getting funding. And then you look at the closure of some agencies, for instance, USAID. You look at other instances where, Elon Musk and members of his Doge team have, reportedly gained access to some sensitive payment systems. All of this is of grave concern to a number of congressional Democrats. And so they are particularly concerned about the nomination of Russell Vought, who is the president's pick to lead the Office of Management and Budget, which kind of handles a lot of these efforts and decisions. So they are protesting by basically holding the floor during this period ahead of that final confirmation vote. Now, it is likely that Vought will have the votes to be confirmed, but this is a way that Democrats are hoping they can protest his nomination, or at least try to slow it down.
All right, Nikole Killion for us on Capitol Hill. Nikole, thank you very much.